And here we are once more. I'm Dave Schrader. He's Eric Boynton. Let's talk some sports. We are now officially out of the NFL season following Super Bowl 60 in Santa Clara. Do we want to put a bow on it with anything we saw there?
Oh, you were there, so I mean, you can talk about everything you saw there. I mean, what I saw is the Patriots' offense couldn't do anything against the Seahawks. That's what I saw.
No, they could not.
Yeah, I mean, it was not a great day for the Pats' offense. Not a great day for offense in general because the Seahawks' offense really wasn't that great. It seemed like once we got a turnover, that's when everything kind of, I guess, loosened up a little bit. So that was my observations from the Super Bowl, basically.
I was wondering if we were going to have the first ever Super Bowl with no touchdowns either way. You mentioned opening up. The first turnover came with 10 seconds left in the third quarter. I think at that point the Patriots weren't just trying to chip away. They were like, we got to do something drastic to try to win this thing. But it's clear that Seahawks defense is for real. When you look at some of the stuff coming out of this, as it pertains to what do the Packers have to do to get to one of these games? It's been 15 years since they won Super Bowl 45. Defense does win championships, so Jonathan Gannon's got a lot on his shoulders, especially with Micah Parsons probably not ready till late September, early October, to get this team rounding into form to do that. Because Jordan Love threw 4 touchdowns, no picks in the playoffs, and they still lost that game.
I mean, if you look at what's something that's similar when you look at the Eagles and the Seahawks, the last two champs, was defensive line, and they've got a lot of pressure with those front four.
And interior pressure. Not quite sure why it keeps cutting to our weather cam there.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Sorry about that. But with interior pressure, and the Packers, of course, they don't have a lot of depth in that department. Will they bring Kingsley Enagbare back? We'll see how much he commands heading into his free agency.
Getting Devontae Wyatt back and healthy will be key because that
changed more depth,
a lot.
Too.
They do need more depth, so maybe that's something to do in the draft. What they can and can't do. We talked a little bit last week, me and Joey, about the cap stuff. Goody saying that it felt like him and Russ, they could do almost anything they want. They're about, $3 million over the cap, according to over the cap. So there's a lot of work to get done before you get to the start of free agency or the start of the new year on March 11th. So a lot to get done. I think defensive front is probably going to be an area that everybody looks at because if you look at the last two Super Bowl champs, that's where they're really strong.
Let's talk about the Olympics. Wisconsin's Kewaskum native Jordan Stolz winning gold in the 1,000, setting the Olympic record today in 106.28. We're back again. 106.28. He's just less than a second off of his own world record. He's got big goals. 4 golds is what he would like to have as a whole in these Olympics. It would be really remarkable if he does that. Pulaski native Deidre Irwin, of course, the highest female biathlon finish in Olympic history 4 years ago. She competed in the 15K this morning, I believe, took 34th place. Tomorrow morning, 3 a.m., prelims and qualifying for men's snowboard cross with Iron River, Michigan native Nick Baumgartner. If he advances to the finals, you early birds at about 6:45 a.m. could watch those. Of course, he's 44 years old, claimed his first ever Olympic medal 4 years ago in the mixed relay, which was really fun to see. Anything else you've been keeping your eye on with the Olympics?
No, I mean, how Deidre finished was definitely something I was keeping an eye on.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was watching hockey, especially the other day. Women's hockey, 5-0 over Canada. It seems
that's nice.
To beat Canada 5-0, it's like
it's a real deal.
That's like Canada beating the United States in baseball 10-0. I mean, this is what we do best. Hey, the Skycam in Green Bay again. Oh, I'm not really sure how we keep doing this.
We don't. There's something with the computers. It's the computers.
Yeah, it's traffic updates.
Anyways, since we last chatted last Wednesday, the NBA trade deadline came and went, and Giannis did not go anywhere. Your thoughts?
That's what I said all along. Is I did not think that Giannis would get moved in season. There's just so much that has to, so many pieces, so many teams to take on that salary, and for the Bucks to get their return. I think they were kind of waiting for somebody to really blow them out of the water, give me something that just shocks me. I think that's what they were waiting for, and nobody really came to them with that. So that's just. They're going to stand pat. We'll see where they are in summer.
Do you think they get what they want in the summer?
That's also a good question. I think it all depends on draft. There's so many things that goes into it, but I mean, in terms of the money, and then Giannis says things like, "I want to retire a Buck as long as we can compete." So,
well, he said that. Actions and words sometimes differ. It's clear he wants to win. It's clear the Bucks aren't close to winning right now. I think the interesting thing as well would be Do his calf injuries, his persistent injuries over the years, do those in any way diminish the haul that they're going to get this summer or whenever something transpires?
I always go back. I always say to people, like, have you ever seen the 30 for 30 one magic moment when they let Shaq leave Orlando and they said to keep Anthony Hardaway, that there's 100 Anthony Hardaways and there's one Shaquille O'Neal. Giannis is kind of that guy.
Oh,
he's kind
totally
of a
that
basketball
guy.
unicorn, and you kind of have to take that risk maybe if you're another team that, hey, he's got some calf issues. But how many Giannis's are there out there in the world that you can go and get?
Yeah.
Not many. How many good shooting guards can you go and get? There's probably a few.
A man who grew up adoring Reggie Miller, that hurts my heart.
It's
I,
true.
I love shooting. I didn't have much athleticism, but I could shoot. That was my game. Brewers pitchers and catchers reporting today. A little bit of news surrounding that.
Oh, I mean, I think the big news this week has been the trade of Caleb Durbin. So I think that surprised a lot of people, and the Brewers continue to. I mean, they basically now they've taken Devin Williams, turned him into Caleb Durbin, and now they've turned Caleb Durbin into another strong arm in Kyle Harrison. I mean, that's kind of what the Brewers do. So, I mean, yeah, I think it's remarkable the Brewers had two guys that finished in the top four in the Rookie of the Year balloting, and they're both gone before they get to play another year.
That's
That to me
different
is
for them.
remarkable. And they went out today and they signed Gary Sanchez, so now they have a backup for William Contreras. They needed somebody to back him up, and Gary Sanchez, familiar with the team, familiar with some guys on the staff. Staff's changed quite a bit in 2 years, but I mean, that's kind of the news of the day. I mean, the Brewers, they don't make a lot of moves in free agency, so I think that's the move you're going to get is a guy like Gary Sanchez for what, $1.75 million was the report from John Heyman. Not a ton, but a little bit.
First workout tomorrow, 10 days to the first Cactus League game against the Guardians. Obviously, this team has overachieved prognostications from Vegas every year. Two Manager of the Year awards for Pat Murphy. Do they do it again, despite getting rid of Peralta and everything? Do they do it again?
I mean, I didn't think that. I mean, I go back to where they were when we were at the opening day. Me and Joey were at the home opener, and it was just the vibe just didn't feel good at all, and that was in part because of Hughes passing and because of the offseason they had. Didn't feel like they made a lot of moves, and it just felt at the start of last year like it wasn't going to be a magical year. And then you see what they did. It's a long season, 162 games.
It's
We're in February. Come see me in July at the
see me
trade.
in October is
Yeah.
with the team that's done it all in the regular season. That's where I'm at with this team. But
I think an interesting question for them will be, what do you do at third base? You have Jet Williams, who you just picked up. Murph basically said today that Bryce Durang is not going to be the third baseman, and they're not right now going to move Joey Ortiz to third base. I don't think that you're going to see Jesus Made up there.
he's
already.
in the big league camp, one of 7
He's in the
prospects
big league
invited.
camp, but he's also like 19 years old and
Right.
played single A ball last
No, I
year.
totally
I
get
think he
that.
gets maybe half a season in Triple A before you start thinking about it. Churio had basically a full year of Double A ball. He didn't play in Triple A, but he had Double A ball before coming up.
Before we get back to the Sky Cam, let's talk Phoenix Hoops for a second. Women first, ladies first,
Wait, ladies already locked up a share of the Horizon League
and the 1 seed.
and the 1
So
seed.
basically, the league crown for the regular season.
I mean,
15-0, but
they-
it wasn't easy last week.
no, but they do what they do. They sometimes flirt a little bit too much. You look at what they've had in the fourth quarters. They've had some showings that haven't been that great, and that's kind of maybe you always hear coaches say it. Put the full 60 or whatever minutes together, and it feels like the Phoenix are kind of figuring that out too. How they got to put it all together and be consistent for an entire 48 minutes.
Twice last week on the road, struggled. Facing teams a second time, given. Falling behind 19-2-1, getting a buzzer beater from Maddie Skorupski as well. Jenna Geyer, an 8-0 run of her own to help win. This team is learning how to win. I talked to Kayla Karius this week, and she said, in the moment, down 19-2 on the road after a quarter, she said, this is going to be good for us. It's not going to be fun, but it's going to be good for us down the road. It may prove to be that. On the Phoenix men's side of things, they still entertain an outside chance of the regular season Horizon League crown. They'll be on ESPN2 tomorrow night against Purdue Fort Wayne. They're talking about how that's a big moment. They want the Crest Center packed. They want to show off what Green Bay basketball can be to the national audience that may be tuning in. It could be a big game for them.
No, like you said, I mean, it's showing what Green Bay can be, and that's in reality that's kind of sometimes where you are in terms of college basketball nowadays. In the world of NIL, it's about exposure. It's about getting out there, and you go on to hire a guy like Doug Gottlieb. You went out and hired him to make your program known, and now you're going to be talked about on a national stage, even on ESPN2. Obviously, I think they're going to talk about Doug a little bit.
A little.
And that would be a topic. But you get to see guys like Preston Reiniger play on ESPN2.
Yeah.
I think that's exciting for those guys. I think it's exciting for the program, and now they get to show it with a lot more eyeballs than what you might see in a streaming service.
I think that's very important. Doug Gottlieb mentioned since the Horizon League's gotten the one big televised game a week, the home teams have lost every one the last 3 weeks, I believe. Doug Gottlieb also talked about how recruiting guys through the portal and stuff last year. There was one agent for a player who said, you're going to have to double what anyone else pays because we think your program's a joke. Tomorrow night on TV, ESPN2, they have a chance to prove for the next class that they're trying to recruit that they are not a joke. So I think it's big in that regard as well. Of course, the Horizon League, women's and men's side's a one-bid league. Whatever you do all season long doesn't matter. It's what you do in March during the Horizon League tournament, and they're working towards that. And Doug Gottlieb, I asked him about that as well this week, and he talked about how it's if you prepare, the final exam isn't that tough. It's about getting to that start line of the tournament in a great position, because everyone knows one loss will ruin your season. Yeah. But it's preparing yourself as best you can. And last year they won 4 games, and they were 4-27 entering that Horizon League tournament. They didn't have much of a chance. They could have gotten hot. They need to make sure that they're not peaking at the wrong time. They need to make sure they're ready at the right time.
The big thing that Doug talked about it was that Dick Bennett kind of told him you got to find glue, and you got to find guys that you can lose with before you can win with them. And you talked about NIL era recruiting. If you look at who are the big contributors on this team, they're guys that came back. They're C.J. O'Hara, Preston Reiniger, Marcus Hall. Those are guys that were a part of last year's team. They're now part of this team. So that culture, even in the day of NIL and this maybe kind of like a mercenary type of college basketball, you see a guy like Nick Boyd down in Madison, but you still need a John Blackwell. You need that guy that was here before.
Gosh, and were they both good last night?
And that's you need them to come together, and that's how you win. It seems like in college basketball today, it seems like they've kind of got that going with the Green Bay Phoenix. They haven't had a lot from the transfer guys, but they've gotten a lot from the guys that came back.
49 combined points for Boyd and Blackwell last night as the Badgers knocked off number 8 Illinois on the road. Anyways, we've covered a lot of bases here. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next Wednesday at 5:30.